Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to basically cut through the noise, pull out the key insights from different sources, and get you right up to speed.
And today we're looking into something pretty fascinating. Hints of hidden tech, secret histories, things that could, really change how you see the world.
Yeah, it's quite a journey we're taking you on. This deep dive focuses on one person's account, a guy named Eric Hecker.
That's right. He shares these really wild stories, claims about being recruited into secret programs as a kid, his military time, and then seeing advanced tech down in Antarctica.
So our mission here, for you listening, is to really unpack these claims. They're extraordinary, frankly.
We want to try and understand the connections he's making, between things that seem totally separate.
And explore what it might mean if these powerful technologies he talks about actually exist, controlled by who knows who, with basically zero public oversight.
Exactly. This is about getting a different angle, a new perspective on stuff that's usually kept, in the shadows. See if these dots connect for you.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Eric Hecker's childhood. He grew up in Levittown, New York.
Yeah, the first big U.S. suburb built for returning WWII vets. And he claims, right in elementary school, he was singled out.
Singled out how?
He says he was identified and tested, pulled out of class, taken to the school library for these assessments.
Wow, just like that. In the library.
Yep. And he thinks he must have done well enough because he was selected for some kind of mysterious program.
Okay. And what about his family? You mentioned that plays into it.
It does. Very military family. Father, grandfather in the Navy. Great-grandfather was a ship carpenter.
So the Navy was kind of in his blood.
He felt it was inevitable,
Yeah.
But there's another layer. Kind of unsettling. His grandfather was allegedly involved with the American Bund, the group back then sympathetic to the Nazis.
Right. That adds complexity, definitely.
For sure. And even back then, as a kid, he remembers seeing strange things.
Like what?
He described these disco ball reflections moving across walls. Houses were packed close together there.
Disco balls. That's specific.
Yeah. And looking back now, with everything else, he thinks there's a high probability it was actually UFO activity.
Okay, so unusual childhood experiences. And then there's this Project Stargate claim at age 7.
Yes. He says he was trained for it, but didn't know that's what it was at the time.
How did he figure it out later?
As an adult, he came across the remote viewing protocols.
Yeah.
At Dames, Monroe Institute stuff.
Okay.
He said they were identical to his childhood training. That was the aha moment, as you put it. A dead reckoning blew him away.
Must have been. What was the training actually like?
He mentioned this device, a telescope, like an optical viewer.
Okay.
Put headphones on, look into it, images flash by, selections made with your eyes on the screen.
And the point was?
The frame rate was supposedly so fast you weren't consciously seeing it.
Yeah.
Designed for, subconscious absorption.
Right. And he thinks this was grooming for later.
That's his theory. Part of a decades-long program to get him ready for the submarine service, linking remote viewing directly to the military.
He felt manipulated, basically.
Caught in a decades-long program of manipulation, his words.
How many kids were involved in this, did he say?
About 6 to 8 kids, he estimated. And at least that many adults running it.
And this was during school hours, not after school.
During school hours, yeah. Pulled from class, taken to the library, then just sent back. No secrecy instructions or anything.
He just assumed his parents were in the loop.
Pretty much, yeah. Wild stuff.
Okay, so let's fast forward. He joins the Navy, gets into submarines.
Right. Trained as a fire control technician on Los Angeles-class nuclear subs, which he stresses was super confidential.
I bet. And the NSA got involved early on?
Apparently, yeah.
Oh.
During his enlistment process, he has this specific memory being told flat out, from this day forward, we will always follow you.
Chilling. Definitely something you'd remember.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And then there's this encounter in sub-school, Groton, Connecticut.
With who?
A Raytheon scientist, who apparently promised him a proper separation from the Navy if he'd work with them on something.
Raytheon again. Okay, what did that involve?
He describes these very peculiar activities in a super top secret place, Building 518.
Peculiar how?
He specifically remembers seeing this peculiar chair behind a curtain.
A chair.
Yeah. But the really striking part is he has significant memory loss around this whole event.
Memory loss, like wiped.
He believes technologies are used to basically pull memories out of immediate reach, hide them in your own memory banks.
Okay, that's intense. So where did he go from there? The Raytheon connection didn't end, right?
No. Fast forward to 2010.
Yeah.
He needs work, has kids to support,
Right.
and he gets an offer from Raytheon Polar Services Corporation to go to the South Pole Station.
Antarctica. Given his history with Raytheon, did he hesitate?
He said he had great pause, absolutely, but financial necessity won out. He took the job, spent a full year down there.
And this is where his really big claims about Antarctica come in.
Exactly. This is the core of it. He alleges that all the scientific research talk, it's largely a cover.
A cover for what?
For directed energy weapons platforms. He insists the tech being used there is way beyond what the public knows. Just far beyond.
Wow. Did he see anything specific down there besides the tech?
He did mention a UFO sighting during his winter over season.
Another one. What was it like?
At first he thought, massive round flaming meteor. Looked like it.
Okay.
But later, after research and hearing other accounts, he concluded it was a UFO because of its flight path.
How so?
It flew very parallel to the surface of the Earth,
Yeah.
from horizon to horizon. That suggests a controlled flight path, not just a random meteor trajectory.
Interesting. And he also talks about an ELF system, right?
Yeah.
Extremely low frequency.
Yeah, at the South Pole. Initially, they told him, oh, it's not powered up, not being used. Standard stuff.
But
But through his work, just routine checks, he found out they were lying. It was absolutely an active system.
and used for more than just talking to subs.
Way more, he claims. He thinks it has a treasure trove of potential directed energy weapon uses, including that disturbing voice-to-skull technology.
Voice to skull, projecting voices into someone's head.
That's the idea. He also thinks it monitors the magnetosphere, maybe for the ice cube neutrino detector.
Which brings us to IceCube itself. The official story is it just passively observes neutrinos, right?
Right, that's the public line. Passive observation. But Hecker testified in D.C.
He testified to Congress.
to Senate Intelligence Committee staff, yeah.
Yeah.
And he provided documentation, he says, showing it also has the ability to transmit.
Transmit what? Energy.
That's the claim. It can deliver energy. He connects it to Tesla technology, wireless power transfer ideas.
Making it, in his view,
A directed energy weapon, plain and simple. And the secrecy around it, the pushback he gets, he says that points to nefarious intent.
so if this is real, who controls it? Not just governments.
He believes it's factions, these groups with monopolized technologies.
Yeah.
They manipulate governments, deploy these weapons nobody even knows exist.
Which makes you wonder, doesn't it? If that perspective is true, how does it change our view of, nation-state power?
Totally shifts it. And he brings up voice to skull again in this context.
How so?
The ability to cause intrusive thoughts, like a voice in your head that sounds like you.
That's chilling.
He says it's like having a microphone, but the receiver's in your head. Mimicking voices, transmitting thoughts.
And he thinks this is widespread.
He's concerned it's been used on the general population for a couple decades now.
Yeah.
For control.
What about things like Neuralink? Isn't that trying to do something similar?
He sees Neuralink as a distraction,
Yeah.
making people think you need hardware, implants for this kind of connection, when maybe you don't.
Okay. And IceCube has other uses, according to him, besides being a weapon.
Yeah, secondary ability, tracking UFOs.
How would that work?
His theory is that these craft, with their exotic propulsion systems, might eject neutrinos.
Uh-huh.
So the detector could act like a specialized air traffic control tower for them, tracking their movements.
Yeah.
And he thinks this tech is ours. Theirs. Both.
Both. Alien and ours is how he put it.
Where did this detector tech even come from?
He links it to a scientist from Brookhaven National Labs out on Long Island.
Which he notes is interesting
Because of connections to Antarctica, the military-industrial complex,
Yeah.
and Operation Paperclip, bringing Nazi scientists there after the war. Lots of history on Long Island.
And he mentions faster than light communication.
Yeah, another capability he attributes to it. Quantum entangled, faster than light communications. Highly speculative stuff, linking it to Gary McKinnon's claims about finding an off-world fleet.
Okay, this next claim is pretty shocking about Christchurch.
Yeah, this is maybe one of the most alarming parts. He claims that when IceCube first went into transmit mode, February 2011,
When he was there.
exactly, he says it misfired.
Misfired. How?
He alleges it hit Christchurch, New Zealand by accident twice before they managed to dial it in.
He's saying the detector caused the Christchurch earthquakes?
That's his claim. And he says he has no reason to think they stopped using it that way and that they plan to make it 10 times bigger.
Wow. How does he compare this to something like HARP?
He calls IceCube like HARP on steroids.
Because
HARP's an array on the surface. IceCube is embedded deep in the ice, adds a third dimension length, width height,
giving it much more power.
magnitudes more power, he claims. And it's the newer tech.
So this loops back to his question for the Senate committee.
Right. What do we do now that we're cognizant that there are rogue factions with monopolized technology operating without oversight? A fundamental question.
And he saw other things too. Lasers.
Yeah, a very strong green laser beam, firing multiple times from the Atmospheric Research Observatory, the Aero building, straight up into space.
Any idea what for?
He suspects chemical lasers, maybe involving superfluids. He mentioned the huge amount of helium stored there, 500,000 gallons kept at 4 Kelvin, way more than needed for basic science, he suggests, made him question its real purpose.
Okay, let's pivot slightly. Havana syndrome. That's something more people have heard about.
Right. And Hecker has researched it. He points out even the DoD put out literature for personnel, how to report symptoms, get medical help, basically confirming it's a real thing.
And the symptoms overlap with what he describes.
Fatigue, voice-to-skull stuff, nausea, vertigo. Exactly.
So his gut feeling is
That these technologies are being used in mass all around us. Everyone's starting to feel these things, maybe, but nobody's paying attention or connecting the dots.
And he told the Senate committee about his own experiences, the symptoms he and his crew had.
Yes. He detailed his South Pole observations, power supplies, locations, who was involved, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, PAE, National Science Foundation. Laid it all out.
How did they react?
He said they were very concerned, especially a lead scientist they had there who helped translate the technical stuff for the others.
But the public report didn't reflect this.
That's his claim. He says the Aero summary report lied. It stated no Havana syndrome victims reported from Antarctica, which he says was totally wrong because he'd told them everything.
And he believes these technologies are used for control.
Yeah, torturing people, controlling people. He talks about targeted individuals, refining these methods over decades to manipulate and modify behavior.
Who does he think is behind it all?
Very wealthy people. He sees it fundamentally as a class war. The rich stepping on the throats of the poor, essentially.
He sounds incredibly resilient, though, talking about threats.
He does. Says he's not afraid, calls fear programming, admits threats were made against him, his loved ones, but says his family doesn't back down.
What worries him most, then?
The practical stuff. Difficulty staying employed. He thinks it's deliberate to stop him being funded to fight this beast, as he puts it.
Yeah.
His biggest fear is running out of money before getting his version of disclosure out.
Why does he think Havana syndrome specifically gets so little real attention if it's happening?
Because the tech is monopolized. They don't want it discussed publicly. There's profit in the monopoly, and public awareness would bring regulation, sharing. Kill the golden goose, maybe.
So suppression is key here. He's convinced this stuff is kept under wraps.
100% convinced, yeah. UFO tech, directed energy weapons, why? Liability. The dirty hands of those involved are in too deep to come clean now.
And it's bigger than just one country.
Way above nation states, he insists.
Yeah.
Not just the U.S. It involves military-industrial complex contractors all over the world.
What's his take on the current UFO disclosure movement, then? People like Grush coming forward.
He's corrupt, highly critical, calls it a joke, says it's working very seriously at not disclosing anything.
Strong words. Why does he think that?
He believes the whole disclosure community has always been owned and operated by these people. Points to things like COINTELPRO, controlling the narrative from day one with disinformation.
So rebranding things.
Exactly. He thinks man-made advanced tech activities are deliberately being rebranded as off-world UFO activity to maintain the lie that governments don't have this stuff.
Which leads to his most alarming prediction.
Yeah. The false flag alien invasion. He thinks it's absolutely coming, maybe even pretty soon.
Why would they do that? What's the motive?
A big power play. To create a crisis, justify a martial law type situation, like 9/11 leading to the Patriot Act, but bigger.
Resulting in
Massive loss of liberties, curfews, instant legislation, attacks on freedoms. Those would be the signs it's a setup, he warns.
How would they pull it off? Make it convincing.
A fantastic magic show of high technology, something visually overwhelming, off the wall, designed to fool the vast majority.
He thinks people are primed for it.
Yeah, he feels they've been pumping everybody into this you can't believe it unless you see it mentality, precisely so they can stage something spectacular.
And he sees COVID as related.
As a wonderful test run. To see how much garbage, his word, people would accept if pushed hard enough, he thinks most people will buy the false flag invasion.
So what's his goal in speaking out? What does he want people to know?
He wants people to realize Their tax dollars have funded tech that's not just not helping them, but is being used against us negatively. He calls it a sin.
But he's frustrated people aren't reacting more.
Yeah, expresses frustration, thinks too many prefer ignorance is bliss, because it means they don't have to do anything.
And if people want to follow his work...
He directs them to his website, deciphering.tv.
Okay, so let's just recap quickly. We've covered a huge amount today, all from Eric Hacker's account.
Yeah, from alleged secret childhood programs, Stargate connections, Navy secrets, the Raytheon scientist.
Right, through to Antarctica.
Yeah.
The ice cube detector as a potential weapon tracking UFOs, the Christchurch claim.
Voice-to-skull tech, Havana syndrome links, potential mass manipulation.
And ending with this stark warning about suppression and a possible coming false flag alien invasion. It's a lot.
It really is. The core takeaway from his perspective is this idea of a vast, hidden, technological world, operating completely outside public view, maybe controlled by powerful, unelected groups.
It definitely challenges how you might think about power, technology, and information, doesn't it? Offers a radically different picture of reality.
Which leads us to a final thought for you, the listener. Thinking about these claims, advanced secret tech, deliberate suppression, what responsibility, if any, do you feel?
Yeah, what responsibility do you feel to seek out different sources, to really critically look at the narratives you're given, especially when they're about huge global events or potentially about societal control itself? Something to think about.